Hi, I'm Willa. Just graduated top of my class with a 4.0 GPA and enough extracurriculars to make a college admissions officer weep. Not that it was ever enough for my parents. Did you see Jennifer's daughter got accepted to Princeton? Mom's favorite conversation starter at breakfast for the past year. And she played 3 varsity sports, Dad would chime in, not looking up from his newspaper. I'd stab my cereal, knowing my 2 varsity letters and student council presidency somehow didn't measure up. Story of my life. So there we were at Olive Garden, my choice for my graduation dinner, which already made my parents cringe. Mom wanted that new French place downtown, but this was supposedly my celebration. We have news, Willa. Dad cleared his throat as the server placed our entrees down. Something special to mark this occasion. My stomach fluttered. Maybe they'd finally acknowledge all the hard work? A trip? The car I'd been hinting at? We're adopting a 16-year-old girl from China. Her name is May. My fork clattered against the plate. What? May is exceptional, Mom beamed, pulling out her phone. She's already published research in mathematics journals. Look at her. She turned the screen toward me. A serious-looking girl with perfect posture stared back. Her English is impeccable and she plays concert piano, Dad added. The agency says she's a once-in-a-generation mind. My best friend Trevor, who my parents had reluctantly allowed to join us, kicked my foot under the table in solidarity. His eyes said everything. What the actual hell? How long have you been planning this? My voice sounded distant, like it belonged to someone else. Mom smiled that tight smile she uses when dealing with customer service. About 6 months. We've been fixing up the guest room. You'll have left for college by the time she arrives, so the timing works perfectly. The guest room next to mine? The one you wouldn't let me turn into a study space? May needs proper accommodations, Dad explained like I was dense. She'll be preparing for university applications. Congratulations on your graduation, Trevor said loudly, trying to change the subject. 4 years of killing yourself for that diploma. Pretty impressive. Mom nodded absently. Yes, good job, Willa. Though May is set to graduate a year early. I excused myself to the bathroom, legs shaking. Trevor followed me to the hallway. Your parents are unbelievable. Are they seriously replacing you the minute you graduate? I leaned against the wall, fighting tears. Apparently, I was just the practice kid. Now they're upgrading to the premium model. What are you going to do? Good question. I took a deep breath and something hardened inside me. My whole life I'd tried to please them, shape myself into their perfect daughter. And it was never enough. Now they thought they could just swap me out for a newer model? I don't know yet, I told Trevor, my voice steadier than I felt. But I'm not just going to smile and take this. They want to play family with their new, perfect daughter. They have no idea what they've just started. Back at the table, my parents were already discussing May's piano recitals and how they'd need to find a better instrument than our starter upright, the one I'd learned on for 12 years. I picked up my cold pasta, making plans. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. The next morning, I slipped into Dad's home office while my parents were at their tennis lesson. Their password hadn't changed in years. My birthday, ironically. Find anything yet? Trevor paced behind me, keeping watch through the blinds. Emails going back to November. Look at this. I pointed at the screen. They contacted 3 different adoption agencies before finding one that would fast-track the process. Trevor leaned over my shoulder. Scroll down. What's that about financial verification? My stomach dropped as I opened the attachment. Bank statements? College fund documents? My college fund? They're using my tuition money as proof they can support May. They've already transferred half to a new account. Trevor whistled low. That's straight-up theft. Your grandparents set that up for you, right? Yep. Grandpa's inheritance specifically for my education. I forwarded everything to myself, hands shaking with rage. They're presenting themselves as these wealthy, charitable people taking in a gifted student. It's all an act. My phone buzzed. A text from my dad's sister, Aunt Caroline. She'd been at my graduation, but skipped the dinner, claiming a migraine. Now I wondered if she'd known what was coming. We need backup. Let's go see Aunt Caroline. An hour later, we sat in Aunt Caroline's sunroom while she poured us iced tea with shaky hands. I've been worried sick about you since yesterday. Your mother called me this morning saying you're taking the news poorly and always were the jealous type. Jealous? They're literally replacing me. Aunt Caroline sighed. They've been telling family for months that you're difficult, ungrateful, that you're planning to waste your education on that useless journalism degree. They've been setting the stage. For what? Cutting me off? For when people ask why they're suddenly focused on another child. Willa, they've been painting you as a disappointment to the whole family. My eyes burned. Did everyone believe them? Not everyone. Your cousin Marcus called me after your mom cornered him at Easter, trying to convince him what a troubled teen you are. He said, and I quote, "Either Willa's the best actress ever, or Aunt Linda's full of crap." Later that night, I found May's social media accounts. After some hesitation, I sent a message introducing myself. To my surprise, she responded immediately. I've heard so much about you. Your parents say you're very successful but chose a different path than they hoped. We video chatted for an hour. May was brilliant, but clearly nervous about the adoption. They promised to pay for Harvard Medical School. They said their daughter, you, had no interest in medicine despite their encouragement. They never encouraged me toward medicine. I wanted to be a journalist since 9th grade. May's face fell. They showed me a room with medical textbooks and said it was yours before you rebelled. That was always their study. I've never seen those books before. By the end of our conversation, May was confused and upset. They told the agency they've been mentoring me remotely for years through a special program. We only connected through my English teacher 3 months ago. I think we're both being manipulated, May. Want to help me figure out what they're really up to? She nodded slowly, determination replacing confusion in her eyes. Send me everything you find. I'll do the same. You sure this will work? Trevor adjusted the tiny microphone clipped inside my shirt collar. It has to. We need them on record. I checked the app on my phone. Test it. Your parents are the worst people alive, Trevor said clearly. I played back the recording. Crystal clear. The next morning, I found Mom in the kitchen planning some kind of party. What's all this? I gestured at her color-coded binders. The welcome gathering for May. We're inviting everyone. Family, friends, colleagues. It's only 3 weeks away now. Need any help? I offered with forced sweetness. Mom looked surprised. That would be nice. Maybe you could help with the invitations. So, this college fund situation? Are you still planning to help with my tuition? Mom's expression tightened. We've discussed this, Willa. Your journalism program isn't what we had in mind for your future. If you'd chosen pre-med like we always talked about... We never talked about pre-med. That was always your plan, not mine. Don't raise your voice at me. This attitude is exactly why we're concerned about your choices. Is that why you're using my college money for May? Mom's face went pale. What are you talking about? I saw the bank transfers, Mom. Grandpa left that money specifically for my education. You were snooping in our financial records? Your father will hear about this. She grabbed her phone. Perfect. Later that afternoon, Dad cornered me in my bedroom. Your mother tells me you've been making accusations about your college fund. Not accusations. Facts. I have the documents showing you moved money from my account. Dad's face darkened. That money is for a serious education, not some liberal arts degree where you'll learn to be professionally unemployed. It's still legally mine. Nothing is legally yours until you're mature enough to handle it. If you keep pushing this, you'll find yourself completely cut off. Is that what you want? Are you threatening me? I'm telling you how things work in the real world. Keep your mouth shut about family business or face the consequences. Got it. All of it. That evening, I met Aunt Caroline at her attorney's office downtown. Mr. Geller, a family friend who had handled my grandfather's estate, looked grim as he reviewed the documents. This is highly irregular, The trust specifically states this money is for your education, Willa. Any education of your choosing? Can they legally take it? No. As trustee, your father has a fiduciary duty to manage the money for your benefit, not redirect it elsewhere. And I'm concerned about these adoption documents. They've listed assets that aren't accurately represented. Aunt Caroline leaned forward. What can we do? I'll need to make some calls. In the meantime, gather whatever evidence you can. And Willa, be careful. Your parents seem unstable right now. The next day, I called May again. She had news. The agency requires home visits before finalizing international adoptions. Your parents somehow got an exemption by claiming they've been my remote guardians already. That's not even possible. I know. I asked my teacher who connected us. She said she only met your parents once, 3 months ago, at a recruitment fair for international students. I forwarded her statement to Mr. Geller. That night, I found Mom's party planning binder. The welcome gathering would have everyone there. Family, friends, her boss, Dad's business partners, even someone from the adoption agency. The perfect audience. Any progress? Trevor asked when I called him. Everything's set. 3 weeks from now, they'll never know what hit them. You think May will stick to the plan? I smiled, thinking of our last conversation. Absolutely. Turns out she hates being manipulated even more than I do. The day of the welcome gathering arrived. My parents' house was decorated like something from a magazine spread. Flowers everywhere, catered food, and a banner reading, "Welcome to our family, May," hanging in the foyer. I arrived early with Trevor and Aunt Caroline. Mr. Geller would be coming separately, along with a special guest, Ms. Winters from the adoption agency, who believed she was here for a routine pre-placement visit. You ready for this? Trevor squeezed my hand as guests started arriving. Been ready my whole life. My parents greeted everyone with practiced smiles. Dad clinked his glass when the living room was full. Thank you all for coming to celebrate this special occasion. As many of you know, we're welcoming a remarkable young woman into our family. May will be joining us next month, and we couldn't be more thrilled. Actually, I'd like to say something first. I stepped forward, connecting my phone to their TV. Since we're all family and friends here, there are some things everyone should know. Mom's smile froze. Willa, this really isn't the time for... It's exactly the time. I turned to the crowd. My parents announced they were adopting May at my graduation dinner 3 weeks ago. What they didn't mention was that they've been planning to replace me for months. Murmurs spread through the room. I pressed play on the first recording. Dad's threats about cutting me off. That's taken out of context. Dad lunged forward, but Trevor blocked his path. Is this out of context too? I switched to emails between my parents and the adoption agency. They claimed they've been May's remote guardians for years. They've never even met her. Miss Winters stepped forward. Is this true? These documents claim an established relationship dating back 3 years. I played the video call with May, confirming they'd only connected months ago. And here's the best part. I pulled up the bank records. They've been using my college fund, money my grandfather left specifically for my education, to finance this adoption. That's enough. Dad's face was purple with rage. Everyone out. This ungrateful child is mentally unstable. I've heard these exact words before, Aunt Caroline said, standing beside me. You said the same things about me when I questioned you taking Mom's antique jewelry. My cousin Marcus joined us. They told everyone I was a drug addict when I caught Uncle Steve stealing from Grandma's estate. Mr. Geller cleared his throat. As the executor of your father's estate, I can confirm the college fund was established with explicit language preventing it from being used for any other purpose. Mom tried a different approach. Willa, sweetie, we only wanted what's best for the family. You've always been so independent. We thought you'd be happy for us. Happy? You tried to steal my future to buy yourselves a replacement daughter? Miss Winters was furiously taking notes. This adoption process is immediately suspended pending investigation. We take fraud and misrepresentation extremely seriously. What about May? I asked. She's still hoping to study in America. I'd be willing to sponsor her, Aunt Carolyn offered, properly and legally. The gathering dissolved into chaos as relatives took sides. Most backed away from my parents, whispering in shocked clusters. Dad's business partner left immediately, pulling out his phone. 2 weeks later, my parents faced the consequences. Dad was charged with financial fraud and threatening behavior. Mom's interior design clients canceled. The adoption agency blacklisted them. My college fund was restored and placed in a trust under Aunt Caroline's supervision. They called me constantly, leaving tearful apologies. Willa, please. We made a terrible mistake. We can fix this as a family. I never called back. Some bridges should stay burned. Instead, I helped Aunt Caroline prepare for May's arrival as an exchange student rather than an adopted daughter. Trevor and I left for college together, and I started writing for the school paper. My first article about financial fraud and educational trusts. Sometimes revenge isn't just sweet. It's justice. What would you have done if you were in Willa's position? Would you have completely cut your toxic parents off after their betrayal? Or would you have given them a second chance after their apology? When does justice cross the line into revenge? And is that line even important when someone has tried to destroy your future? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this revenge story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about standing up to toxic people. New stories every day.